ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. So we saw that Bhagwan in the 12th chapter gives 3 pointers to the question of Arjun that who are the best amongst the knowers of yoga, those who worship the formless or those who worship the form. And Bhagwan did not say form or formless, he said in whichever these 3 happen, where the mind is fully absorbed, maya veshya mano yemam, where one is able to use that particular aspect of sadhana continuously, nitya yukta upasate, to tune up with the divine. One doesn't have to struggle and there is no, unwillingness. And one does that sadhana with supreme faith, shraddhaya parayopetaha, te me yukta tamamataha. Then he starts explaining about the nirgun nirakar upasana. Sagun already has explained in the 10th chapter, 11th chapter, even in the 9th he explained. Nirgun Nirakar he explains here. The pointers are given. So this third shloka gives the pointers. Aksharam, that which is imperishable. So this Nirgun Upasana, in Bhakti Sadhana they give, in the Bhakti Shastra, they give 2 analogies. One is called as Markata Nyaya, other is called as Marjara Nyaya. So Markat Nyaya means where the young one of a monkey has to hold on to the mother tightly when the mother is going from one branch to the other or one tree to the other. It's the responsibility of that monkey, the baby, to hold on tightly. That is Markat Nyaya. And Marjara Nyaya is where the cat lifts its kitten by its mouth and takes it from one place to the other. The kitten has to do nothing. The kitten only surrenders and the cat lifts and takes. The Nirgun Upasak is like the young one of a monkey. The Sagun Upasak is like the kitten. So the Nirgun Upasak has to do Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, cultivate fourfold qualification, go to the Guru, seek Brahma Gyan, listen, reflect, contemplate, all that. And those pointers are given here. The Sagun Upasak surrenders to Bhagwan, not that, see that example, the kitten does nothing there. It's not that Sagun Upasak does nothing, but Sagun Upasak depends fully on God. That's the implication. Not on one's own self, not on somebody else, not on even one's own sadhana, which one is doing. One will continuously remember Bhagwan, one will serve Bhagwan, do action dedicated to Bhagwan, accept results as prasad, all that. But no dependence on anything else except Bhagwan. So full surrender. Now that is sadhana is there in both. It's not that one has no sadhana and other has to do a lot of sadhana. In one, this is Purushartha Pradhan, Nirgun Nirakar, where the effort has to be put by the sadhak. That is Sharanagati Pradhan, where of course the sadhak is putting the effort, but the sadhak is completely surrendered to Bhagwan. Whenever Bhagwan wants, he will give mukti. That level of surrender one goes to. And so this Nirgun Nirakar, there are certain differences. Nirgun Nirakar attains only the oneness with the divine, may not get the darshan of the form because one is not seeking that. Sagun Sakar gets the darshan of the form also and ultimately oneness with Bhagwan also. Sagun Sakar that way is two in one. Nirgun Nirakar gets direct, straight, what we call oneness with Bhagwan. Advaitic, non-dual realization of the truth. In both, Ishwar Kripa is there is no doubt. And both are different types of temperaments. There's no point in feeling lesser or greater, thinking that Nirgun Nirakar is more subtler, so more greater and more evolved people can do that. And those who have not that much evolved even intellect, not subtle intellect, who are simple at heart, they will do bhakti. That type of a branding or labeling is not required, because ultimately both will reach the same place. So now here the pointers are given, which one has to use. And these are called pointers. Gurudev always said pointer is that in whose direction you have to see, in which direction it is pointing, that direction you have to see. You have to leave the pointer and see what is being pointed. So for example, now this verse 3 gives all the pointers. All the pointers meaning gives, the verse 3 has pointers of Nirgun Nirakar Tattva. So he says, Yetu Aksharam, that which is imperishable. Akshara here does not mean alphabet. Actually, it's very interesting. Alphabets are called Akshara because through them we are supposed to know that which is Akshara. Yayatad Aksharam Adhigamyate is that's called Paravidya in Mundaka Upanishad. By studying the Veda, by learning the alphabets, by knowing the Sanskrit or the shlokas or the meaning, what is the purpose? The purpose of all education, including all the secular education degrees, this, that, is finally to know that imperishable truth as my true self. Yayatad Aksharam Adhigamyate, that is called supreme knowledge, Paravidya. Where one comes to realize that I am imperishable, infinite, unborn consciousness. I am not this perishable entity. So, Aksharam is a pointer. What is it pointing to? Aksharam is not some quality. Aksharam is that which is imperishable. Now, what is imperishable? Everything around is perishing. So, we saw in the previous satsang, when we reject everything that is perishing, body, mind, intellect, ego, things, beings, situations, everything we reject in the mind, not this, not this, not this, not this. What remains is the imperishable consciousness alone. That is our nature. So when we contemplate I am Akshara, there this I is not the body, not the mind, not the intellect, nothing of the world outside. One identifies with consciousness, that aham in us, pure I, which does not change, which witnesses every change. One thought comes, another thought goes. One thought comes and goes, another thought comes. Consciousness or the Sakshi is watching. It doesn't get affected by any of the thoughts. In the second chapter, we saw Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara prapti. So, childhood, teenage, middle age, old age, death, and the next body. This whole thing, including birth, everything is witnessed by consciousness. That changeless entity which is watching all the changes, kshara, is consciousness. So the person contemplates, aham aksharam, aham na ksharam, I am not this which is perishing. Yetu aksharam, anirdeshyam. Air is not akshara. How can air be akshara? Air is changing or not? Pollution happens in the air. None of the five elements can be akshara. Think about that. All the five elements are perishable. They keep changing. Good air, bad air. Don't they measure good quality of air, bad quality of air? Right now, Delhi has the worst quality of air in the whole world because stubble burning started. Now, the point is, except consciousness, everything is perishable. Panchamahabhutas are perishable. Anything made of Panchamahabhuta is perishable. Space, air, fire, water, earth, they all are perishable. Our bodies are made up of perishable items. Mind is made up of subtle five elements. All perishable only. What remains imperishable is only consciousness. Yetu aksharam. Even space is perishable. Space also changes. How many things happen in space? Is it not changing? Galaxies and galaxies come and go. All changes are happening in space. More, even in the, if we don't understand that, even in the waking state, the space which is there, that space is not there in our deep sleep state. It is not there in our dream state. So, waking, dream, deep sleep, the five elements become manifest, unmanifest, all that happens. But awareness is there all the time. That is Aksharam, which remains imperishable in 3 periods of time. That is called truth, Satyam. Trikala Abhadita Vastu is the truth. That is Aksharam. So, and see the Akshara Abhyas happens on the Vidyarambha day, which is on the Vijayadashmi day, where the child is made to write in a plate of rice. Rice is called Akshata. Akshata again means that which does not get destroyed. With the finger, the Brahmana will make that child write Om. Om is again a symbol of Akshara, infinite consciousness. So that's why it's called Akshara Abhyas. Om is not a part of any alphabet. Om is made up of 3 alphabets, A, U and Ma. But the first alphabet, the first thing that that child will write, is made to write officially, is on a plate of rice, Om. Indicating what? This is what you have to realize in this life. All your education must be to know this Om, to know that Akshata, which is imperishable. Without knowing that, I can know everything else. It is having very limited relevance. Because only human being can realize the Akshara. Other beings don't have that capability. And having known that, there's nothing more to be known. That is a complete fulfillment of life. May education bring me fulfillment. That's a beautiful message there. So, Aksharam, Yetu Aksharam, Anirdeshyam. It cannot be defined. Because anything that has name, form, attributes, qualities, movement, action, relationship, all that can be defined, described. But that which does not have which is infinite, does not have any of this. But it can still be known. See, if somebody has a name, so suppose you say you go to the airport and bring such and such person. If there's a name, no? Will you say that go to the airport, bring anyone? Array, bring anyone means you tell me who has to be brought, what is the name? Okay, bring Swami Nandanandana Nandana. Try writing the spelling of that. Nandanandana Nandana, Swami Nandanandana Nandana. How does he look? Okay, so he will be tall, he will be young, he will be having black hair or long jata or whatever. Some description, name is there, form is there. What does he do? He gives pravachan on Bhagavatam, Gita, lectures. Which center is he from? Okay, he's coming from wherever, suppose you say he's coming from Delhi. Now some description is given, no? Then one say, okay, I can identify. And description is given of something which is finite. That which is infinite, now what can one say? It does not have name. Even the word infinite is not a name. It is only some indicator. Does not have a form, does not have qualities, attributes, nothing. Even all this, suppose you say it is Akshara, Avyakta, Sarvatragam, it only indicates that it is everywhere. There is no one particular thing. So one can't define. God can't be defined at all, actually speaking. Consciousness as even the word consciousness is only to say that it is not inert. No, Swamiji, Satchidananda is the definition of Brahman. It is not definition, it's again a pointer. It is to say that if you transcend everything which is finite, what will remain is not non-existence. So to deny it is not non-existence, it is said it is existence, Sat. To deny it is an inert state, it is said it is Chit. To deny it is a dull state, it is said it is Ananda. Those are words. What one experiences when one transcends body, mind, intellect, that is indescribable. One can only remove the wrong notions, because one will think that it is something like shunya, blank, and which is why so many people think that nirgun nirakar means blank. And then what has to be done in meditation? Just be thoughtless. To be thoughtless, nothing is required. One chamat one gives quickly with enough force, that person will experience thoughtlessness for a minute. We don't have to experience thoughtlessness. We have to realize consciousness. That is our true state. And that is all pervasive, infinite. Again, these are all pointers. Aksharam, Anirdeshyam, which can't be defined because it does not have name, form, attributes. Anirdeshyam, Avyaktam, and it is unmanifest. It is unmanifest meaning actually it is manifest every moment. Right here in our heart, aham, 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 that spurana is happening. We feel I am. That I am, pure I am, without any adjectives. That is consciousness. But our mind is turned extroverted and we are thinking of it as some name, form, concept, which is why our question we ask, show me God. A show me God itself is a question born out of ignorance, because God is not a thing to be shown. Have you seen God? If you can't see God, that means God does not exist. God is not some object to be shown. Gurudev used to joke, he used to say, God is not an object that you can put in the test tube and say, pass it on, this is God. God is a very subject, and beyond that, because of it, the body, mind, intellect is functioning. So is avyakta in the sense you can't see God outside. He is unmanifest. God is consciousness with a substratum of the whole world. The entire changing world is playing on the changeless. Now that is not visible. Only change is visible. Continuously everything is changing. That is visible. But there is a changeless factor Externally, through our senses, we can't see. I can't see, hear, taste, smell, touch God. Is avyakta. Forget God. I can't see, hear, taste, smell, touch my mind and other people's mind. And please thank Bhagwan. Luckily, we can't read other people's mind. Otherwise, we won't be able to have any harmony in relationships also. Whatever little harmony we have, that also we will not have. Why? Because if we actually come to know the thoughts of the other person, Bapre, what that person is really thinking. Ideally, that is what should be, that what I am thinking is what I speak and that's how I behave. But where that happens? Majority, you ask them, how are you? I'm so happy to meet you. I'm doing very well. And inside one is thinking, I feel like giving you one shot. Why did you even come into this place? That all is going on. So luckily we can't see, hear, taste, smell, touch anybody else's mind nor our mind. What to talk about consciousness which enlivens the mind? It is not possible. It is avyakta. But it becomes vyakta. To whom? To somebody who does sadhana. To turn the mind within and contemplate, and one will realize, oh, it is here now. Like how the butter is there in that milk, but it is unmanifest. Where is that butter in the milk? Everywhere. It's not in one place. Sarvatragam is said, na, in this one, second line. Sarvatragam. Where is the butter in the milk? Show me, where is this butter? Arey, butter is everywhere in the milk. And it is unmanifest. But then how will you make it manifest? Just because it's unmanifest doesn't mean it can't be experienced. Unmanifest can be experienced. By the process of sadhana, it will become manifest. In that, what happens? I am not making the unmanifest manifest. I am making my mind capable of understanding that which is unmanifest. That is sadhana. Otherwise, what is unmanifest from one standpoint is actually manifest every minute. Without it, nothing else will be there. Like we said earlier, aham, aham, aham is always present. But my attention is not on that aham. My attention is outside, on this money, on that game, on that person. Now Deepavali is coming, so I will travel, I will go here, I will spend this time with such and such person, and we will eat this, we will, enjoy this, all that. Mind is gone out. So even though it is there here and now, can't experience. What is sadhana? Turn. Turn the mind within. And then one realizes, oh, it is ever manifest. That unmanifest becomes ever manifest. That is process of sadhana. And in that, what did I do? I didn't do anything to the truth. I can't do anything to the truth. I can only turn this mind. When I turn this mind, I realize, oh, it is my nature. So from the standpoint of the truth, it is said as of now, because our mind is extrovert, it is said avyaktam, anirdeshyam, avyaktam, pariupasate. These are the nirgun nirakar upasaks who continuously strive using these pointers, that consciousness is here, which is unmanifest, which is indescribable, can't be defined. Gurudev always said, God defined is God defiled. Can't define God. Infinite, indescribable, undefinable, and imperishable. So, aksharam, anirdeshyam, avyaktam, paryupasate. Sarvatragam is all, it has gone everywhere. Sarvatra. Gone everywhere means what? Gam. Gam means to go. Gachati. Sarvatra, everywhere. Gone everywhere. It's not that it was in one place in the beginning and now it has pervaded everywhere. It's not like, Swamiji, in 1980, I came to Mumbai and I started one shop here where I used to sell whatever you say, mithai. And today we have gone to every major city in this country. We have more than 100 branches and franchises. So started with one, went everywhere. Now we are going global. It's not like that. Sarvatraga means gone everywhere. So consciousness was first here in one place and then it has started spreading everywhere. And now it has occupied a certain amount and then it will occupy much more in future. No, Sarvatragam means what? It is that in which space itself is. See, space is that which is everywhere. Everything is inside space. So we say space is everywhere, right? Akash literally means that which accommodates everything in it. That is Akash. Avakashatvat Akasha. So Sarvatragam means that space in which everything is. This is that which enlivens space also. When space is not there, this is there. And it is inside, outside, everywhere. Sarvatragam, all pervasive. Consciousness is all pervasive. And that's why Prahlad ji does not have any doubts. Is your God in this pillar? Yeah, is there in the pillar also. Sarvatragam. How? As existence is everywhere. Sat, as pure existence, everything is. It's everywhere. And wherever subtle body is there, their consciousness can respond and express as life and stimulus and response. In the inert thing, if you add a subtle body, which is mind, intellect, memory, ego, senses, pranas, if you add all that, that inert thing also will start responding. But that is only expression as life. Otherwise, existence is everywhere. And that existence is consciousness actually. There's no difference. They both are one only. So consciousness is all pervasive, sarvatragam. And even in deep sleep, when the space is not there, this is there. That is the meaning, sarvatragam. Waking, dream, deep sleep. This space, what we see externally, is only in the waking state. The space of dream is different. In the sense, I am not aware of this space. I am inside the dream, only one dream space has been created in which the whole dream world is seen. And in deep sleep, that space also is not there. But I am. So that which is there everywhere, meaning in all the three states of consciousness and beyond also, that is Sarvatragam. Turiya Avastha, that is the fourth state of consciousness. When a person in meditation transcends all attachment with the finite, one comes to Samadhi, one comes to the state of realization, one experiences only consciousness, nothing else is there. That state is Sarvatragam. Actually, Sarvatragam is only a pointer for us to understand that it is everywhere and it's not a five element, it is not space. Otherwise, one can't imagine Sarvatragam as some going somewhere. And please understand, this is Sanskrit language. Okay, Sarvatragam. Ga, gam, gachati. That is the dhatu, root in Sanskrit. Sarvatra means everywhere. Now, please don't think of gum as some gum with which you stick something. Sarvatra gum. Everywhere there is gum. So everything, consciousness must be very sticky. Why? Because everywhere it is gum, gum, gum. That is English language, Baba. And don't take Hindi word gum. Gum means sorrow. That's not even Hindi, that's Urdu word. Then Sarvatragam means what? Everywhere there is sorrow. Consciousness is what? Miserable. Consciousness is what? Very sticky. Are Ram, what all our mind can think. This is Sanskrit, Baba. Please stick to that language, that word, that meaning. Sarvatragam. means that which is everywhere. Lots of places in this Gita, it will come chayam. Chayam means cha plus ayam, and also, and this, sorry, and this ayam. Gurudev used to joke saying, he's not talking about chai, tea. It is Sanskrit, cha plus ayam. If we start, trying to understand the meaning of a word in some other language, it will create such confusion. More in English means I want some more, meaning extra, you give more. In Tamil, if you say more, it means buttermilk. If you say give me more in English, suppose somebody has brought rice and is giving you rice, and you say give me more. If you say, translate in English, it will mean give me more rice, meaning that person wants more of rice, so give me more. Now the person thinks give me in English and more in Tamil, he'll go and bring buttermilk. You'll bang your head saying, I don't want buttermilk, I want rice, bring me rice, more rice. Please don't do all that in Sanskrit here. This gum is sarvatra gum. The whole अर्थ का अनर्थ हो जाएगा. Sarvatra gam. Everywhere there is called what? Sorrow only. No. Sarvatra gam. Sarvatra gacchati. That which is all pervasive. Sarvatra gam. Then achintyam. That which is unthinkable. Which cannot be grasped by thought. See, unmanifest means that which can't be grasped by our senses. And achintyam means that which can't be grasped by the mind. In the sense of some thoughts and emotion. It's not a thought and emotion that comes and goes. God is not at all in the realm of thought and emotions. Yes, bhavana we may have for Bhagwan. That will help me to surrender my ego, which is bhakti, which is sharanagati. All that is great. It will purify my mind. Fantastic. But God is not an emotion. God is not energy. God is not power. God is not emotion. God is not thought. God is not a concept. None of this. God is a state of consciousness. Just remember this much, please. Gurudev always said God state of consciousness. I love that expression that Gurudev always used, because that gives absolute clarity that God is a state of consciousness, and that's what you and I have to realize. It's not some power somewhere up there, some energy. Energy keeps on changing, is destructive. It's perishable, sorry. God is not energy. God is not prana shakti. God is not some vital breath. God is not some emotion. When I am in bhakti bhav, yes, one tears may also flow and one start dancing also sometimes and all that. That is out of emotions, feelings, and one feels God is everything, one forgets oneself. Wonderful. But God is not that state of emotion. God is consciousness which illumines all this and remains uninvolved, unaffected observer of all this. That state of consciousness, which is indicated here as Aksharam, Avyaktam, Anirdeshyam, Sarvatragam, Achintyam, that is God. Like the Kenopanishad says, no, that which cannot be thought of by the mind, but because of which the mind thinks, know that to be God, to be Brahman, to be consciousness. Yan manasana manute yena ahur manomatam tadeva brahmatvam vidhi na idam yadidam upasate. Upanishad is so powerful. Straight away it says, this is not some concept that you are worshipping, which you worship in the beginning for upasana, etc. Wonderful. But God is what? It can't be thought of by the mind. So any concept that comes in the mind, reject it. That is not God. Concept free awareness is truth. which is the most difficult thing to do. Next shloka will tell us what are the qualifications to do this contemplation on the formless. But to remain concept free is so tough because our mind is expert in making concept, making some definition, attaching some attribute to it. God is none of that. God can't be limited by any of that. That's why he says here, achintyam. It can't be thought of as an object. God is not an object, God is not a concept, but it can be thought of as the true self. And that is how one has to think. When we say achintyam, does not mean, oh, Swamiji, God can't be thought of now. Why am I wasting time thinking about God? That's what I was doing before. I was not thinking about God only. I was happily living my life, enjoying my work, doing things, in my personal life and family and profession and social life and all that. Happily I was living. Then all of you said you come to satsang, and then I started coming to satsang and this and that, and now you are saying God can't be thought of. I was not thinking of God only before. Simply brought me here and wasted my time. Anyway, now that God can't be thought of, bye bye. I'm going. This is said in a context. Earlier, one was not thinking of God. And who is that God? Your own true self, not somewhere out there. Then one comes to satsang, then one comes to understand something, then one makes a concept out of God. Then Upanishad says, no, no, God is not this. If you break concepts, what remains that illuminating factor? That is God, that is you. There's a big difference between that and the state of not thinking about God and being involved in the world outside. Completely unaware, ignorant. This is full awareness, that is no awareness of the existence of the truth also. This is full awareness where one says no concept, concept-free awareness. That's why it's like a peak, From the broad base, one keeps coming like this, it becomes a peak. Difficult not to reach the peak, easier to be on the ground. So the peak is this concept-free awareness where the mind can remain free of any concept, and yet it is not sleeping, and yet it is not wandering in the world outside, and it is holding on to certain pointers. It has lifted itself up, and finally it has dropped the pointer. It remains as it is. It dissolves itself actually there. Then only consciousness remains. That is this. ये तो अक्षरम अनिर्देश्यम अव्यक्तम पर्युपासते सर्वत्रगम अचिंत्यम. So if God can't be thought of, it is not any concept that is explained by anybody. And that's why God does not have name, form, attributes. And we believe that God is only infinite consciousness, and infinity can be only one. So please remember, Sanatan Dharma is not a polytheistic religion. Unfortunately, people think everywhere else there is one God. Why do we have so many gods in Hinduism? And then one will say, no, no, God is one, but forms are many. So we are a polytheistic religion. No, we are monotheistic only. Do you know how much confusion this has caused in the whole world, and how many wars have been fought because of this? Because of these two Abrahamic religions, they feel that they are monotheistic and everybody else is polytheistic, and they are pagans and they worship idols and this and that, and we will tell them there is one true God. How many wars and how much is going on even now? Conversion and killing and all that. All because of this stupidity in the ideological thinking, where they can't accept somebody else and they can't understand properly that there is only one truth which even Sanatan Dharma believes in. And even if somebody believes in more, what is your problem? You follow your religion. No, why do you need to change anybody else's? But no, they want to dominate. So Full on confusion because of this. It is not that Hindus think of God only as some name, form, and then we are all weird worshippers of weird gods. Somebody is elephant god, somebody is monkey god, somebody is snake god, somebody is horse god. Arre, what is all this? People get confused because they have no clarity about the fundamentals of Vedanta. Our Hindus, we also don't have clarity. And then whatever they say, we learn to accept that. Yeah, we are polytheistic, what to do? And we feel lesser. No, we are one. Our Sanatan Dharma says very clearly God is infinite consciousness, indescribable, nameless, formless, attributeless. You can't put a form. Temporarily, yes, and Bhagavan does manifest in the form. That is the beauty of it also. But the ultimate truth, even that infinite consciousness which appears as a form, will lead you to the formless only finally. Because ultimate union of the lover and the beloved is in uniting, being one, not remaining two separate, in being one. So when we say the achintyam, it means God can't be defined. And because God can't be defined anirdeshyam, and because God can't be thought of achintyam, there is no use of saying that my concept of God is the true concept and your concept of God is false concept. Because infinity can't be limited by one concept. Because finally all concepts are rejected. Whichever concept that may be, even Sachidananda will be dropped, final realization. No words, indescribable. Can't speak anything about it. That's why Mahatmas become silent, because infinity can't be explained. And one Mahatma said very beautifully, the moment you open your mouth, duality begins. Two lips are there, now you started duality. Silence, no duality. That's why they become silent, some of them. They don't speak only. Because you can't explain. How much will you explain to somebody? See, even our emotions, etc., which are finite things, we can't explain to somebody how much we love. You ask somebody, how much do you love me? What will they say? You ask, small child, they ask, Beta, do you love mummy or daddy? Then the child will say mummy or daddy something. How much do you love? So the child says like this much I love. How much can you show? One can show through some words, through some poetry, through some gift. Beyond that, how much? What is the feeling inside can't be explained. That other person has to feel it, estimate it, understand it. Beyond that, what can be done? Nothing can be done. Finite things can't be explained. What to talk of infinity? So when he says here, unthinkable, in the final truth, in the final step, all concepts are dropped, including the act of meditation also dropped, meditator also dropped, pointers of meditation also dropped, everything dropped. Aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta. When he says that, Shankaracharya ji, that I am not the eater, I am not that which is eaten, I am not the act of eating. The same thing you apply in meditation. I am not the meditator, I am not the meditated, I am not the act of meditation. Then who am I? Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. You drop the Triputi, what will remain? That is the truth. Hence, it is useless to fight. So many of our great acharyas, they don't have any conflict at all. If I understand the big picture very clearly, there is no conflict. Because the final stage is where everything has to be dropped and everybody is not ready for that. So each one needs to be prepared from where they are, they have to start walking. So somebody will need certain forms and Bhagwan will manifest in those forms also. And so someone worships Shiva, Durga, Devi, Hanuman, Ram, Krishna, whatever forms they worship. And Bhagwan manifests in those forms, helps them, blesses them. Then somebody worships Sagun Nirakar, Omkar, where there is no form but there is only sound. Then somebody does Nirgun Nirakar, whichever one uses. Ultimately, everything has to be dropped. How does it matter whether you take a pointer and you reach there and drop it, or you take a sound symbol and reach there and drop it, or you take a form and name and you reach there and drop it? It is actually vain to judge and to say this is true God, that is false God. A God can't be false, Baba. Then there is not God. What a confusion in the whole world. And war after war after war in the name of this is the true God and that is the false God and we are here to save the world. Babre Baap. The true God concept also one has to drop finally. Hence he says Achintyam, Sarvatragam, Achintyam. No boundary of thought, emotion can limit God. You know, there is one nice story. Once this ant, ant was going here and there everywhere, searching something. Now this ant came to the banks of a lake. And this elephant is there in that lake happily taking bath, taking the putting the lifting the water with its trunk and sprinkling on itself and is enjoying. And this ant shouts at this elephant, "You elephant, come out!" The elephant wonders what happened to this ant. The elephant doesn't bother, something continues to take bath. Elephant, you come out now, immediately. Something very urgent, come. So the elephant says, okay, I'll come. Happily comes out and he stands. What is it? So this ant, when the elephant comes out, this ant goes around the elephant looking from top to bottom, everything. And full pradakshina the ant does and comes in front of the elephant and says, not here also. So the elephant said, what happened? I was taking bath nicely. Why did you call me out? And why are you giving a sigh? So the ant says, I am searching something. She said, what? What are you searching? Saying, I lost my swimsuit. I am searching my swimsuit. And I wanted to know if you are wearing it. That anecdote ends by saying, perhaps an elephant may fit into the swimsuit of an ant, but God cannot fit into the concept of human mind. It's a very nice analogy, actually. God can't fit into the concepts of human mind, no matter how subtle they are, how great they are. Even the Upanishads, all that they say is that these are only pointers and finally even all this will drop. Nothing, it is indescribable, unthinkable. But that is the last step. Thinking will breed, thinking in a subtle way, thinking in the right way will bring me to that step, that point where I drop thought. If I drop thought right now, I can't remain in thought-free awareness. A very simple exercise is that. If I'm able to drop thought and remain as thought-free awareness, then done. I don't need any support. But if I can't drop thought, if I drop one thought and another thought is taking its place, If I drop thoughts of God, thoughts of the world are taking their place, then I should not drop the thoughts of God. I should continue. Chant the name of Bhagwan, chant the pointers, shlokas, mantras, whatever it is. And come to a point where if I drop it, what remains is not blank, is not wandering of the mind, is not some objects of the world, not some concept free, thought free awareness. That I have to realize. Bas. So that is what Nirgun Upasak is trying to do. Using the pointers, bring up to the peak and then drop the pointer. Another example will make it very clear. Suppose I say that Prakash, come here. There is a group of 100 people, let us say, and I say, Prakash, come here. Now what will happen? The sentence is, Prakash, come here. Suppose somebody is sitting in the audience called Prakash. What will happen? That person will come. But in that process, what has happened? Did the person hold on to the words saying, Prakash, come here? So some Prakash is being called? No. He understood that, oh, Prakash, my name is Prakash, so I am being called. So he shifted from the words to what the word indicates. The word indicates me. So first from the words he shifted to what the indication is. Did he go on the meaning of the word, saying Prakash means light? Oh, somebody called light is being called. No. He dropped the word, he dropped the meaning of the word, and he took what it indicates. And what does it indicate? It indicates me. So he says, I am being called. And so he goes. Same way, we have to drop the word, we have to drop the meaning of the word, we have to take what it indicates as me. Anirdeshyam means that I am that which can't be pointed out, can't be defined. I am that which can't be thought of. Just a minute. Somebody was at the door. Sorry for the disturbance. So the pointers have to be used to reach a certain point where I've withdrawn the mind from everything, and then using the pointer I've come up to a certain state. Now the mind is single pointed. Turn within. Now drop the word, drop what it means, and focus on what it indicates, and that indicates me. So it is not some truth which is avyakta. Me as consciousness is avyakta. Not some truth is unthinkable. I as consciousness am unthinkable. Can't be limited by boundary of thought. So this has to be identification like that. Aham achintyam, aham anirdeshyam, aham avyaktam, aham aksharam. It is me. Which is why study is important, and that's why we said in the beginning that one has to go to the teacher, one has to listen, reflect, contemplate, all that effort one has to put. If somebody thinks spirituality is no effort, khao piyo, mauj karo, sit quietly, people will come and give you bhiksha, happily you eat, enjoy, give some pravachan. What a cool, chill life. If somebody doing that as an escape and they want to indulge, that is not true spirituality. True spirituality here, where one drops identification, wherever one is, whether in household or renunciate. If I'm walking the spiritual path as a sadhak to know the truth, I have to go on dropping whatever is finite and come to realize the infinite, the spirit in me. That is spirituality. So Aksharam, Avyaktam, Anirdeshyam, Achintyam, Sarvatragam, Kutastham, that which is changeless. So Kutastha is like this, that anvil. In the wheel, in the center, that portion will not change, that anvil. The wheel will rotate around that. Or, the stone on which the goldsmith makes the ornaments. That stone remains as it is. The person will keep tapping the gold and making the carvings and all that, and that will keep on changing. Stone will remain as it is. That changeless truth is this. So, Kutastha. In us, so all the change that is happening around this infinite consciousness. BMI, body, mind, intellect, prana, everything keeps on changing around that truth. That which remains changeless is Kutastham Achalam. It is immovable. How it will move? If something is like this book, suppose you say this book. Now this book is limited by this form. So it is here only. It is not here. So from here it will move here. That which is Sarvatra Gam, how it will move anywhere? It is immovable. Which means what? We have to understand. Consciousness doesn't move anywhere. I'm just giving an attached one corollary of this understanding, because the person who dies, we think uski atma gayi. Arey, atma doesn't go anywhere, Baba. And they keep saying that also. नहीं आत्मा तो कोई जाती नहीं आती नहीं लेकिन उसकी आत्मा गई अरे तो ही वाज एन एक्सेप्शन और व्हाट कि किसी की आत्मा जाती नहीं आती नहीं इसकी आत्मा चली गई व्हाट वेंट body drops there only, body is burnt, buried, whatever one does. Atma doesn't go anywhere, consciousness is everywhere, where it will go. Then what went? Who goes from one body to another? Jivatma went. So please use the word Jivatma, don't use the word Atma. And if you want to use English, you say embodied soul. Don't say soul. His soul went. His soul doesn't go anywhere. What all confusion we create because of that. Atma does not go anywhere. Atma is everywhere. It is not that Atma left this body and then went into another body and started living there. Jivatma, which is the infinite consciousness identified with one mind, intellect, memory, ego, senses, pranas, that embodied soul is Atma identifying with one, that is called Jivatma. That Jivatma goes from one body into another body. This body where it goes now, Atma is already there as existence, it is there. And this subtle body is going into that as though, and then that body becomes alive and starts responding. So the Atma doesn't go anywhere. Like the example given is bucket, two buckets of water. Sorry, two buckets are there. In one bucket there is water. Now from this one bucket you transfer water to another bucket. Will you transfer space? Or space is already there in that place? Where the second bucket is, there the space is already there, no? We don't have to transfer this space there. What will you transfer? The bucket remains here now. It is one bucket. After example limitation is you lift the bucket and put the water, but then again you put the bucket back here, no? So this bucket is here only. I didn't transfer space at all. Then what did I transfer? The water which was inside that bucket for some time. Now that water has gone into that another bucket. So that bucket is the body. This water is the Jivatma. And the space is like the Atma or Paramatma. Again, don't think Atma is different and Paramatma is different. And then people think all these concepts, इसकी आत्मा परमात्मा से मिलन हो गया, परमात्मा के अंदर चली गई. अरे आत्मा is not one small little thing, Baba. It doesn't go from, because you see all that comes in the movies and all, and then they will show the Jyoti from this dead person goes and merges into Bhagwan. And then everybody wants to think that way because it's convenient to think कि I am a small part of the Atma, Paramatma. I am an Atma, that is Paramatma, and this small Atma becomes one with this big Atma. Arey, there is no big, there is no small. That's what it is saying. No, it is Sarvatragam. In Sarvatragam, where is big and small? The example given for that is space. Can you say that this room which has been made now, so this is room space and there's outside space. So this outside space is the big space. This is small space. If you want to say that, you say that from the standpoint of the room, but actually there is no big space, small space. And when you destroy this room, then do you say this small space went and became one with that big space? Nothing. It was always big space only. Just that it was limited by the boundaries of the wall. So we're calling it as room space, and that is outside space. Ghatakash, Mathakash. There is no actual division as room space and big space out there. No. Ghatakash and Mahakash, sorry, not Mathakash. Ghatakash and Mahakash. The pot space, outside space, massive, big space. If you break the pot, it is not that the space is now merging. It was never emerging out of it for it to go and merge. It is just that some boundary was created there. So there is no Atma which is small, which goes from one body to another. The Jivatma went from one body to another until it doesn't realize that I am the infinite consciousness. There is no going and coming. But that is called Mukti. Till I think I am one body, I am incomplete, I am the Jiva, I am incomplete, then desires are there and more bodies I need. If I realize I am not this at all, I am infinite consciousness, my nature is Purnatvam, and like a stupid fellow, I am thinking happiness is in this person, in that place, in this object, I am running outside. It is not there. Once one has understood, one has turned within, then one will realize, okay, so when it says here, Achalam, immovable. See, these are all deeper implications. If one goes on thinking of this, then one will understand, oh, what is my understanding of this Atma? I am thinking Atma is something small, going, coming, born, changing. This is negating all those things. Atma is not changing. So it is Kutastham. It is Aksharam. It cannot die. So it is imperishable. It will not be born. It is Avyakta. Like that, there is no birth, there is no change, there is no death for the Atma, there is no going anywhere, there is no coming anywhere. There is only one infinite truth, that is Brahman, and that is our true self. So all these, Kutastham, Achalam, Dhruvam. The last pointer is Dhruvam. Dhruvam here is eternal, meaning in 3 periods of time it will not change. Achalam, Dhruvam. Eternal is time-wise. Sarvatragam is space-wise. Yeah. So Dhruvam. And Kutastham is object wise. It is the same in all objects. It doesn't change. So that which is not limited by space, not limited by time, not limited by object, that infinite consciousness is me. Achalam Dhruvam. Dhruva, na? The word Dhruva, we think of the great devotee of Bhagavan Dhruva, Dhruva Loka. When we say Dhruva is the pole star and that pole star guides, into finding the right direction. That is one understanding. But the deeper understanding is Dhruvam means that which is eternal, meaning it will not change in 3 periods of time. Infinite consciousness is the same. So the truth that was realized by great masters in Satyuga is the same truth I will realize now in Kali Yuga. It is not that the truth of Satyuga was different and the truth of Kali Yuga is different, and Satyuga had the purest form of consciousness, and now in Kali Yuga this consciousness has got polluted. So I will realize Kali Yuga consciousness. It is changeless, eternal. It is same in 3 periods of time, past, present, future. How interesting is that? So the word consciousness in Vedanta we use only for that which is beyond time, space, objects. That is consciousness. And that consciousness doesn't go through any change and good and bad and small and big and going and coming. None of that. It is not conscience. It is not consciousness as, being conscious and unconscious. No, no. It is not mind. People use consciousness for mind also. And they say, my consciousness has to expand. That your mind has to expand, your energy has to expand, all that is okay. That in Vedanta one should be clear. Consciousness doesn't expand anywhere. It is always sarvatragam, it is everywhere already. So these are all pointers. What we did today is only try and understand these words and what do they mean and what do they indicate. In Nididhyasan, we don't need explanation of all this. Or this Nirguna Upasana when one is doing, one is straight away having reflected, one is sitting quietly and saying, if you say all this, Aksharam, Avyaktam, then one feels, I am that Akshara. Consciousness is imperishable, I am that, not this BMI. That process is what we have to do. Negate who I am not, assert who I am. Do that Nididhyasana. Now, who can do this? Because it's very subtle, not easy to, first of all, intellectually and even understand. Then where is the question of contemplating and realizing it? Now, how do I know whether I am ready for this formless upasana or not? So, Bhagavan gives in the 4th shloka 3 qualities at the body, mind, intellect level, which if we cultivate, we will be ready to do this contemplation or this Nirguna Upasana. And if I want to know whether I should choose form or formless, then I should evaluate myself. Do I have these qualities? If I have these qualities, that means I can do formless Upasana. If I don't have, that means I should use form. Now let us see what are those. Sanniyamyendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayaha te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. Sanniyamya indriya gramam, having controlled the group of senses. All the senses it means. If one has sense control, that is the first quality. That's at the body level. That my senses should not make me a victim. I can use the senses. I can engage in the world. I can even work, enjoy, achieve, no problem. But I am not a victim of the senses. I can engage when I want. I can withdraw when I want. And the senses don't make me their slave. So, sense control. Sanniyamya indriya gramam. Sarvatra samabuddhaya. At all times I am equanimous. Sarvatra also means all places actually. Meaning even-minded in every situation, wherever I am. Mind may go through certain ups and downs. Obviously, even mindedness does not mean that one is blank and dull and boring. No. But one retains a balance. One doesn't go to extremes and then take decisions which are, you know, erratic or born out of some emotional extremes where there is no proper objectivity. Like Arjun was in that emotional disturbance, he wanted to quickly go away to the forest and not do the duty. Not like that. So, sarvatra samabuddhaya. Then he says, Te prapnuvanti mameva. Such people will come to me, meaning they will become one with me. Who? Sarvabhuta hite rataha. So, sarvatra samabuddhaya is at the mind level. Though the word buddhi is used, equanimity in this context is mind intellect, whichever you take. And sarvabhuta hite rataha, engaged in serving the people selflessly. Selflessness in the buddhi, equanimity in the mind, control of the senses at the action level, and service of the people at the action level. This much qualification is required. That I have selflessness and I see oneness, so I sarva bhuta hite, not only human beings, all the beings, sarva bhuta hite rataha. And they want nothing for themselves. Their demand that I has gone. They are engaged quietly, gently, selflessly in serving people, serving all the beings, equanimous, having control on the senses. Such people, basic point is who have mastered these three, body, mind, intellect, and their BMI does not victimize them, their BMI is not out of control. They are in control of the body, mind, intellect. So when they sit to contemplate, they are able to steadily contemplate on Nirgun Nirakar. And Bhagavan says, Te prapnuvanti. They come to be one with me. If we have these three qualifications, we must do Nirguna Upasana. Otherwise, do the Sagun Sakar. Why? Because if I don't have sense control and my senses are very restless, I won't be able to sit quietly for long. Mind will want to get up, and some people they feel, they close the eyes and sit, they feel terrible. They can't sit closing the eyes for a long time. Even few minutes, sometimes people get disturbed. Many reasons may be there for it, but one of them will be this, that restlessness of the senses is there. So I need to, that's why you see people can't sit still, no? Gurudev used to say that why do you have to give notepads in the conferences? One aspect is okay, people want to make some notes, but more often than not, it is not to make notes. It is because people need to scribble something, doodle something. If you don't give them that notepad, they will sit and scratch the table, the chair, they'll start pulling the carpet, and that is more costly than to repair or to rectify. You might as well give them notepad and pens or doodle, whatever you want to do, you do. Because the restlessness of the senses, you can't sit and simply listen. Something has to be done. So in Sagun Sakar Bhakti, all the senses are engaged. Seeing the form of Bhagwan, offering flowers to Bhagwan, chanting, so you are hearing the stotram also, and then the smell of the flowers, and then the agarbatti, and beautiful whole puja is there. In that, senses are engaged. Withdrawing the senses is more difficult, engaging the senses is more easy. Today we are in a situation where people can't even sit in a puja because they don't know the technique, they don't understand the importance. They think ritual, what is happening, I don't care, I don't understand. Okay, my parent is telling me to sit, so I'm going to sit. It's a fantastic training in sense management, keeping everything in one place and developing sense mastery. See, when we do anything else, we are engaging with objects. In terms of, suppose I see a movie, Now I'm involved. My mind is involved. I'm seeing the movie, the plot is there, interesting it is, and then my mind is also thinking, I'm feeling some emotion, and full involvement is there or not. Now, that same person, if one tries to sit and meditate, that level of involvement may not come if the mind is not ready. And in that experience of the movie, one may develop raga, dvesha, many things can happen in that. Attachments, aversions, and how people get addicted. Now, binge watching is such a thing. People take pride in saying, I binge watched the whole series and finished in one night. In one way, that is attachment. Why you can't live moderately? See one episode every day. No, because suspense I can't handle. I can't wait till tomorrow. In a puja, what will happen? That devotee's mind focuses on Bhagwan, surrenders oneself fully, connects to a higher source of divinity. So the purification of the mind will happen, sense management will happen, and everything that I engage with through my senses. So I am divinizing my senses through that. And that will help me in my meditation to focus on form of Bhagwan, to focus on the name of Bhagwan, to help to surrender the ego, to bring up a bhav. Other enjoyments I may enjoy, not a problem by itself, but that in the meditation they will distract. Some attachment I will form, some dependency will happen, they will increase restlessness. In a puja, it will happen opposite. It will reduce the restlessness of my senses. It will make me connected to the divine more and more. It will help me to quieten the mind. And finally, it helps me to surrender the ego. So sense control one needs to develop. More about this shloka we will take up in our next satsang. Today we will stop here. Can you explain again Akasha and Avakasha? There is no difference between Akasha and Avakasha. Akasha is it is etymologically described as Avakashatvat Akasha. That which accommodates everything in itself is called Akash. The whole universe is in space, no? That capability to accommodate everything, that is called Avakasha. And that is why it is called Akash, because that it is that which accommodates everything in itself. Okay, so so we thank all our Yajmans, the Mukhya Yajmans, for all the sessions. Kalpana Murparia ji, Parag Wagh, Bharat Khanna ji, Vandana Jagwani ji. Aarti Yajmans for all the sessions. Ajay ji, Dipti ji, Hemant ji, Jyotsna ji, Jolly ji, Jayashri ji, Tarana ji, Rashmi ji, Sapna ji, Rajan ji, Shalini ji, Nalini ji, Vijaya ji, and Nandita ji. Today's Dainik Yajman, Chawla Bhimani ji, Mala Malkani ji, Achyutan Nair ji, and Geeta Mirchandani ji. And today's Aarti Yajmans, Surbhi Ashar, Mala Lentin ji, and Daksha Kilawala ji. So we invoke God's grace, Gurudev's blessings on them, their families, and everyone present here. May Bhagwan bless us to have this subtle mind and intellect to contemplate on the nature of consciousness. And if we are not ready for it, may Bhagwan bless us with the path of bhakti and complete surrender and sharanagati, that we may follow that path and come to realize the truth. Om Tat Sat. Jai Shri Krishna.
ॐ जय भगवती ते मैया जय भगवती ते हरिय कमल विहारिणि सुन्दर सुपुनीते ॐ जय भगवती ते कर्म सुमर्म प्रकाशिनि कामासक्तिहरा तत्त्वज्ञान विकाशिनि विद्या ब्रह्मपरा ॐ जय भगवती ते निश्चल भक्ति विधायिनि निर्मल मलहारिणि शरण रहस्य प्रदायिनि सब विधि सुखकारी ॐ जय भगवती ते राग द्वेष विदारिणि कारिणि मोद सदा भव भयहारिणि तारिणि परमानन्द प्रदा ॐ जय भगवती ते आसुर भाव विनाशिनि नाशिनि तमरजनि दैवी सद्गुणदायिनि हरिरसिका सजनि ॐ जय भगवती ते समता त्याग सिखावनि हरिमुख की बानी सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी श्रुतियों की रानी ॐ जय भगवती ते दया सुधा बरसावनि मातु कृपा की जय हरि पर प्रेम दान कर अपनों कर लीजय ॐ जय भगवती ते ॐ जय भगवती ते मैया जय भगवती ते हरिय कमल विहारिणि सुन्दर सुपुनीते ॐ जय भगवती ते ॐ जय भगवती ते ॐ जय भगवती ते बोलिए गीता मैया की जय।
बोलिए श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय, श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Yes, Jolly ji, you can unmute and ask.
Jai Shri Krishna, Guruji.
Shri Krishna. Yes.
Actually, my question is not related to today's lecture. It is related to previous lecture. It
Okay.
is a bit long. Thing is, you've already clarified the doubt of whom to pray, to fix on one God. But I have a question because I'm facing this problem. I will not call it a problem. I'm sure I take back that word. The situation is that my sasural is in Burhanpur. Okay. Now, Burhanpur was basically when Sanatan Dharma, it is a Mughal Sultanate. It was then a Mughal Sultanate. Okay. So Sanatan Dharma, when it was getting eradicated and erased, the Bajirao Peshwa, the first, he then sent the Kul Purohits to all the four direction, north, east, west, south, to spread the Sanatani Dharma. Okay. Now, it has so happened that it came to Burhanpur, and that I'm basically, my husband is from that Kul Purohit. So what they have done, they have established Vigraha, 3 Vigrahas. Okay. One of Ganpati with the right trunk for Moksha Prapta. And one was of Shivji, then Shivji with Parvati ji and a small Ganesha. And the other was Vishnuji with the Dwarkapal. So I just want to know, I'm a Shiv Bhakt, and I've been to all the, this Mansarovar, Char Dham, all these things I have visited. but I still believe strongly in Shivji. But am I doing wrong by disowning Ganpati? I don't disown Ganpati. I attend his aarti and all that. But I feel very guilty that maybe I'm not doing justice. Of course, our concentration of our praying to Vigraha is mainly to concentrate the mind before we can really go upwards, isn't it? So you
Correct.
please guide me a little bit as to, am I going the pathway or what? I'm doing something wrong. That's what I want to know, because I don't want to disown anybody since it has been established by them. It is my duty to do, because we have the under what you call Garvagriha. Garvagriha, we are allowed to enter and be joined. And so naturally we do all those things. Okay. What puja, and there is Purohit also who does the puja. But parikrama and all that, I do it. But I just want to know that am I disowning anybody, because my bhakt is completely Shivji. I'm blind to Shivji, basically.
So you are not doing anything wrong. In fact, it is good you have already chosen your Ishta, and not everybody has that clarity also. And your bhavana is very clear that you are not disrespecting anybody. You are doing the arati, etc. also, but your feeling is much more towards Shivji, and Shivji is everything for you. Now that the whole purpose is that, like you said, is to make the mind single pointed, and ultimately
Yeah.
it is one. And so one method is that since you are doing every day, if you are doing worship of Ganeshji through the Arati, etc., then continue that and focus more on Shivji. That is the way in which one grows. If one is doing in a personal puja room, any puja, etc., there also one remembers Ganeshji in the beginning of any puja or any function or anything, and then focuses on one's Ishta and continues the whole Ishta Devata's puja. So this is Bhavana Pradhan. This whole Upasana Kshetra is Bhavana Pradhan, and your Bhavana is not to disrespect. So Bhagavan acknowledges that. And so you're not doing anything wrong.
No, another thing is the layout of my sasura is a little like the old fashion. Of course, we have the modern facilities, but there is a corner for Shivji. We have everything of that. And I go there every day to pray. First,
Right.
I pray to him, then I come to this mandir. So
Okay.
this is my belief, and I I just wanted to
That is
confirm
correct. There's
that you
nothing
would
wrong in it.
clarify my doubt, please. That's all.
What you're doing is fine. There's nothing wrong in it at all.
Thank you so much, Guruji. Thank
Right.
you so much, Swamiji. Jai Sri Krishna.
Yes, Shri Krishna.
Hariom Swamiji, not connected to the lecture, but I sent you a voucher. Could you please tell me if you got it, and an SMS and the other one and the other voucher on an email?
I will check and I will reply.
Okay, thank you. Hariom.
Hari Om. Yes, Karan.
Hari Om Swamiji. My question is not related to today's talk, but if one is talking to somebody who is possibly a skeptic, or when we are trying to explain our point of view from a Sanatan Dharma, what is God really? What are the texts or the scriptures in our culture which go into the philosophical reasoning for? I mean, I don't want to sound like strange, but the existence of God, as in, as the intellectual, the intelligent cause, the material cause, the instrumental cause. How does one? Where does one get this understanding from our scriptures?
See, the Upanishads, etc., they anyway explain all this, but those are the advanced texts and not very easy for people to understand. So one should study the Prakarana Granthas. They will explain.
Right.
So Tattva Bodh, Atma Bodh, Vivek Chudamani. Now, in one conversation, obviously, if they want to know the whole Sanatan Dharma's view of God, etc., that is difficult to. I mean, one can explain some of this, like you said, material cause, intelligent cause, all that. But if one wants to go to the source part of it, then one has to go into the Prakarana Granthas and understand, and then the whole prakriya which is there of Vedant, where waker, dreamer, deep sleeper, that Vivek happens, now Avasthatraya Vivek, Panchakosha Vivek, and then the three bodies, all that to distinguish, to separate consciousness from the BMI. Then same way for creation, where it will explain that who is God, what is Brahman, then how using power of Maya becomes Ishvara, then the Prakriti, has the 5 elements come out and the whole Srishti happens and all that. So the details, one will get the clarity and the foundation through the Prakarana Granthas, and then the oneness is established finally, saying how Jiva and Ishvara are one. So that's the methodology in Vedanta. So even in the Upanishads, etc., one will find the Mahavakyas, etc., explaining this. For somebody to read on their own, yeah, first they should go through Prakarana Grantha by themselves. And ideally, again, if it is learned from somebody who is well versed in that scripture or from a Brahmagnani Sant itself, then that is the best. Because if one takes by oneself and one studies, one may understand some things, but there are chances of misunderstanding also.
Because the reason I'm asking this question is because maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but this question that I'm asking is not just revealed knowledge in our scriptures, but also that there are certain logical arguments underpinning the existence of a creator.
Yeah, so existence of creator, there are different places it is given. Like you read Kenopanishad Bhashya on the story of Yaksha, who manifested, Indra and the Devatas, etc. They tried to find out who the Yaksha is, etc. That story, if you see the commentary of Shankaracharya, he has elaborately given all so many points of why Bhagwan exists. Logic, experiential proof, different things he has explained in that. So that you can go through. So different places you will find like that. The explanation given in different ways to convince somebody that why there is God. So Kenopanishad Bhashya is a very good place to refer to, especially about that story.
All right, Swamiji. Thank you. Hari Om.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So we will not have class next week. Shubh Deepavali to all of you, because 31st is the day for Deepavali, and we will continue week after that. Hari Om.